like to call them Stasum House Baghdad.
Yeah, and guys, if you don't have these papers out yet, you need to get them out. Mustasim, the Caliph of Baghdad. And guys, I want to remind you, for the video's purposes and for everybody else in the class, remember to speak up. It was kind of hard to hear some people yesterday, and that's fine. But for today, let's try and project.
Wait, should I sharpen my pencil? Wait, what are you, Grace?
Mustasim, Caliph of Baghdad.
Okay.
How are you against Genghis Khan?
Because Hulagu Khan destroyed my city because I refused the Mongol demand of payment of tribute in the form of military support of Mongol forces.
How many casualties were lost during the Mongol invasion?
Over 2,800,000 innocent civilians were slaughtered.
What happened when you tried to negotiate with him?
He refused my friendly surrender 5 days later. Then there was a week of massacre and destruction in Mongolstan.
Wow.
Okay, so was it actually Genghis Khan himself who...
It was his descendant, which is included in this.
Okay. I don't know what to ask. I'm sorry. Okay, what did you do to try to negotiate with his... Wait, hold on. Who is this guy and how is he related to Genghis?
He's Genghis's grandson
Grandson, okay.
that took over when he died.
Alright.
One of them died.
And how did you try to negotiate?
Well, once they got to the city walls, I wanted to surrender and not have them kill everyone in my city. And he refused it and killed everyone off.
Why did he invade your city?
Because, I really don't know.
Well, I'm sure you had a...
Well, what was Baghdad at that time?
It was the capital of the Islam Empire.
Right, and if you gain the capital of the Islamic Empire, think about how big the Islamic Empire was.
Okay.
That would be what?
Did you fight back?
No, because my vizier deluded my mind with promises that the Mongols could be driven off by women throwing rocks at them.
And you...
Wait, who's your vizier?
What?
What is that?
He was like my advisor.
Okay. Just so that everyone in the court knows.
Oh, okay.
So your advisor thought that
Well, he told me that that's how it worked.
you could fight the Mongols off by women throwing rocks.
Yeah.
Because we are
We're strong.
quite the adversary. I don't know if throwing rocks is our strong suit, but
So when you heard this, did you question him at all that this might not actually work?
Not that I know of. Because I had never met with any Mongol forces before.
How did they kill your people?
Well, 300 officials and I surrendered the city, and then Hulagu put us all to death. Then he's...
No, like actually, like how kind of weapons.
I don't know, all of the soldiers came in and sacked the city. That's all I know. Because I was dead.
how did you die?
I was rolled in a rug and stampeded by their horses.
Wait, you're dead?
Yeah, a bunch of these people are dead, Eric. I don't know if you knew, but Marco Polo hasn't been around for a very long time. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you've been dead for a long time, my friend.
How are they talking to me?
Because the trial's taking place now, then.
Don't you?
So wait, you were rolled up in a carpet and trampled by horses?
Yes. Because they didn't want to spill royal blood.
See?
Well, that was nice of them. They kept it clean.
Well, don't
My-
you think?
Go ahead. My concern here is that you thought it was okay that throwing rocks at people who are widely known for their horsemanship and their arrow skills, their, ability to arch, that was going to do it.
Didn't
Obviously.
Yeah, and it obviously did not work. Guys, this person has to be crazy. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well,
Bad witness.
obviously, I was not aware of any of this situation at all.
So you're
Why?
saying that-
Why not? You were the leader of the Islamic Empire.
So,
Sorry. Sorry,
so
Grace.
did you actually send women out with rocks?
No.
Why? If that is what you've been told, and you had no idea what who the Mongols were and what their military was like, why wouldn't you try?
I don't know. Why don't you ask me later?
You're already dead.
Wait, hold on. Why did they invade again?
Well, actually, they just laid siege to the city for the reason of trying to take over the empire.
Okay. Well, I guess this isn't really like I don't know, I'm not really sure what I can ask. I don't know if this is a question just for you, but I don't understand how that makes Genghis Khan's descendants uncivilized when, other empires would take over land too, and other empires would kill innocent people for land, and I don't understand why you think it makes him uncivilized. But
So maybe the question that you ask is, what about this takeover as compared to other takeovers makes it uncivilized?
Well, we actually went to him and surrendered, and then he killed 2,800,000 people in that city. I don't think that was necessary.
I thought that it happened the other way around, that you, first you said, yes, we will throw rocks at you, and then, you said, no, we're not surrendering, and then he came in, killed the 2.8 million people, and then you surrendered 5 days later.
I don't know.
So if that's the way that occurred, is that true?
I believe we surrendered when they made it through the wall, and then they killed off everyone. But I'm not sure.
Sure.
But wouldn't it?
I don't know
why was
either.
it uncivilized if he had a purpose behind his killing and invasions?
Well, those people could have ended up being his potential followers if he hadn't killed them, but now we will never know.
Never would.
We don't know.
So basically what you're saying is you did not, knowing after the 5 days that this was the type of person he was, you tried to surrender. But before that, why didn't you surrender? I mean, it's almost like you are being uncivilized by not giving your people the chance to live.
Well, I was told that they were very weak, so I'm guessing that's why I didn't do anything about it.
Okay, so how did you not know? Did
Yeah,
you just
how
live in your
is-
castle in Baghdad by yourself, twiddling your thumbs?
How is
yes.
this-
Rolled up in a carpet, getting ready to be trampled?
Yeah, you're the leader of a very large empire who is very geographically close to another very large empire. how do you not know the goings on of the other one thinking, hey, it's 'cause maybe they want our land?
I have no idea. There were no details of this in Wikipedia.
Okay, so now let me say, I think we've established that this
Okay.
witness is
Crazy.
maybe
Alright,
defense rest.
defense rest.
Okay. Grace, sorry. I apologize, but it needed to come out. And prosecution, I'm going to help you. Don't worry. It's not needed right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Prosecution would like to call the Chinese Confucian scholar.
How many more people do they have?
Just this one and that one.
Oh, okay.
Wait, did they ask more than 12 questions?
I don't know.
Alright.
Sorry. What? Nothing. Move on.
I don't like this. Why are you against Genghis Khan?
Wait, who are you?
Chinese Asians. Since the Mongols had a different view of China, they didn't believe in the Confucian foundations that we had before, and when they invaded and conquered our land, they got rid of that key essential to our culture, and it left me with nowhere to go. My life has been spent building up to my job with endless days working for it, and finally passing my exams only to be taken away by the Mongol invasion.
How do you feel about the Mongols not having a writing system? Does that make them seem uncultured or uncivilized in a way?
I think that they could have developed one, and not having one was unfair and makes their culture as a whole seem a lot almost uncivilized, but mainly I just say it wasn't a smart idea.
How did you feel about the time China spent under Mongol control? Would you say it hurt or helped China as a whole?
I feel like it hurt China because the Mongols scorned our bureaucracy and hurt our government. They perceived China as another part and discarded us, and it seemed like they didn't really care about us. They didn't care about the culture aspects at all.
How brutal would you say he was when he invaded China?
China viewed them as crazy barbarians who were focused on killing and taking land. They lacked appreciation for the Chinese culture we had before, and they were distrustful of Chinese influence. They also didn't appreciate Chinese officials.
Prosecution rest.
What were the Mongols' motive for invading your land?
I can just put this one together, yeah.
Just wanted it, like they wanted it for more land and just to like have more land.
Did you resist them?
Well, we didn't really have a choice because when we said we didn't want to be invaded by them, like we didn't want them to have our land, they just didn't have it, and that's all.
But you didn't, did you not do anything to stop it? You said, oh, we don't
Well,
want you
I'm a
to.
Chinese Confucian scholar, so I don't really know that.
Well,
There's a Chinese soldier too.
Yeah.
well, all I'm trying to say is that if your people, let's put it that way, or your officials, or anything, just said, we don't want you to invade our land, do you think that's enough to stop the Mongols from invading your land?
We had reasons for it, like we didn't just say no because we didn't want to.
What do you think?
Did you just say no, or did you like try to defend yourselves with military?
I don't know that. That is cool. I read
You said that the Mongols had no writing system.
Yes.
Did they ever develop one like throughout all of Was one ever developed?
Not that I know of. No.
I don't know what I can say. Can I make statements?
Try and turn those statements, like try and turn what you would want her to say into a question form. So like you're almost guiding the question for her to say what you want to say.
Did they?
Is so you are saying that they run civilized, right?
Yes.
So is them not having a right system one of the central issues with you saying they're not civilized?
Well, yeah, I said, it seems like it's unfair because that's a lot of what, like, we were based on, China. And I said it was just mainly, it really wasn't just a smart idea.
Well, what do you think about Japan? They didn't have a ranking system in this time. They were civilized.
When China, Japanese was originally, I think, just a spoken language, and then they borrowed Chinese.
And they later developed their own writing system, but that's the same with the Mongol Empire. They later developed a system of writing.
How about this? Can I help again? So how do you feel about the claim that Kublai Khan and the Mongolian Empire, they were open to cultural debate. They were also open to religious tolerance. They built better cities and temples and all sorts of things throughout China during their dynasty in China. How do you feel about those claims? Well, as a Confucian scholar, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I guess that was.
Defense rests. And guys, just so you all know, like I'm getting this type of information from like textbook stuff. Like I'm not up here texting. I'm up here reading from my big campus, and I'm looking at the documents that I put on for you to look at. So if you're, I mean, maybe this is just me being a jerk, but maybe we're a little unprepared. Do you see what I'm saying? Like maybe everybody should have read more than just their 3 sources to be better prepared for this. And that's just a lesson for the next time we do this type of thing. For now, I think we're getting what we need out of this. Okay?
We edited this, something like this again. Good.
I'm glad you like it.
I mean, I like it because I haven't gone up yet.
All right. Defense, do you have anything further? Okay. Stacy, good job. I mean, Confucian scholar, good job. I mean, Stacy, I mean, Confucian scholar. I mean, whoever the heck else you were. Mustasim. Mustaslav.
Yeah. Prosecution would like to call a Chinese soldier to the stand. Why are you against Genghis Khan?
Because the Mongols invaded China.
I know this is hard for you to talk about, but how many comrades did you lose in the battle against Genghis Khan and his forces?
Well, so many of our soldiers were lost, and I have no idea how many have died. I was so scared and outraged with how they tore through our soldiers. It was a surprise to me that I even survived.
What was it like living under Mongol rule after they took over China?
My family and I lived in constant fear that the Mongols would slaughter us all. Even just seeing them around made our hearts race.
What about your injuries?
A Mongol soldier gave it to me. After I returned home, no woman would marry me because her families knew I was injured and thought I was unsuitable.
Prosecution was?
Well, you lost people from your army in battle, but don't you think Mongols also clearly lost quite a few people as well. So it's not like they were just attacking you. It was a mutual thing. And sure, they killed some of your people, but don't you think your people killed some of them? So, I mean, I don't understand how it's so one-sided. It was...
Well, they came on land.
What did you do to resist the war?
We fought back.
Was there any prior warning that they were going to attack, or did they just come in and
They just came in and asked us to surrender.
And when you didn't surrender, you knew that you would be going into war, therefore you would be losing your soldiers, correct?
We knew we lose some.
but didn't you know the I don't know, but you didn't like you knew about the Mongol Empire, that you knew how like fierce they would be. So didn't you go in there knowing that yeah, you were going to lose people and it probably wouldn't be a little bit. Like you were probably going to lose a lot of people.
But we still wanted to try.
Right, but how does that, why are the Mongols uncivilized if they killed your people? Why aren't you uncivilized if you killed our people, if we were in war together? What do you have over us?
Well, you guys came in and attacked us first.
What do you think was the motives for the Mongols attacking China?
Conquer us.
But don't you think it's not always just about men. What do you think they wanted that you had? It didn't you during this time period have a lot of control of the Silk Road?
Yes.
So weren't they invading to get control of that?
Yes.
So they wanted to be able to trade and improve the economy of their empire.
Yes.
What is uncivilized?
Came in and killed all of us.
When you go to war, there's a 50-50 chance that you're going to lose. And like just because
It's not like
it's not like you put down your weapons and they literally killed everyone. You fought back. You killed them too.
So, what makes the Mongols uncivilized?
A lot.
Well, what
So-
makes them uncivilized?
So they wanted to be able to trade better and to get that thing into the Silk Road, which you had.
Can you give us an example of the Mongols being uncivilized in this scenario?
Besides like killing everyone.
That doesn't
I don't know. If you actually knows.
Oh my god.
Alright, then.
Alright.
So is that the end of your witness's prosecution? All right, defense.
Wait, I have a question.
Sure.
Did the historian Ivan
No.
Say that out loud.
Because I didn't have this.
Right. All right. Defense. Lead us off.
How are we gonna do?
You're gonna ask me questions.
Oh, you're gonna fight back well.
Heck yeah.
Oh, is that Caesar?
Genghis is my grandfather. I like the guy.
Well, then you're in our favor.
Oh, tomorrow's gonna be fun.
Oh wait, you're in our favor. Oh, that's good. That's
Are you
good.
still?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything because they could cross-examine me and do a really
Exactly.
great job.
So you're the judge and you're.
I'm going to be Kublai Khan because CJ is out.
Oh, I think you were the judge if you were his grandfather. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's illegal.
Yeah, you're right. That is.
Okay, good. Like, that's not fair.
That's why we have a jury too.
Isn't like a big percentage of the world actually like related to Genghis Khan?
Right, because of their conquering of all of Asia, and plus Genghis got around.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whatever. Like literally, went through my head.
Hi, Genghis.
Mr.
Mr.
Whenever you guys are ready.
All right. We would like to call Mongol warrior.
oh, wait, I'm against it.
Nobody started.
All right, so Devin is the Mongol warrior.
It was more than enough.
It's more. Oh, is that supposed to be
All right, you guys have to be quiet. Huh? You're okay.
What methods did you use to fight in your battles?
Well, Mongols were skilled in the art of war and archery and horse riding, so they were very feared among their enemies because they were so skilled.
Would you say that your army and the way it was structured was organized? Like how orders came down the ranks?
Yes, because Mongol warriors had leaders, like they weren't just savages, they were all kind of elite, they weren't just peasants. So
Were there any methods of battle that you guys used and developed that were not used by other civilizations?
they used the retreat method where they would lead and surprise attack their enemies, which was uncommon among other conquerors.
And how were the warriors treated?
By Genghis. They were treated very well by Genghis. He respected them a lot and gave them and their family lots of rights.
Would you say that the style of the army was more long-range fighting, or were they better at like getting like really close combat?
Well, they were really good at close combat because they were so skilled, so they could just go and fight people. But they were also good at long range and retreating, like they were becoming ancient and weak.
So they were very well trained.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think an army that would be considered uncivilized would have such an organized and skilled methods of battle like the Mongols do?
Okay, so you said that the Mongol army was very feared. Why do you think that is?
Because they were so talented as warriors, they were good to empires and were very skilled.
So they would go in big forces or small forces?
Mainly big forces, but
Would you say that their main intention would be to conquer or to just acquire land? So if we were very feared, then that would mean that other armies probably wouldn't have as much of a chance against you. Would you say that's true or not? Why, you said also that the warriors were treated well by Genghis himself. Would you say that they were treated well in comparison to others, such as like peasants or?
Well, yeah, they were treated better than peasants because they weren't peasants, they were elite people, and because of their work that they did in the
Why do you think his main focus would be on his army? Why do you think he wanted to conquer so much land? How would you say he would go in and would he listen if another civilization were, say, like, if they were feared of you, like afraid and everything, and they did surrender, would they listen or would they still conquer?
They would still conquer, but I mean, either way, I think
There is one account of a time where, during the Black Plague, Mongol forces had thrown light-ridden bodies over the walls of the city. What do you have to say on this matter?
that it just showed that they were powerful and they were showing off their power and they were scared of it.
Also, when there was a written account of when the Mongol forces would sack a city, they would go in and they would slaughter the population. And in order to be sure that the armies were doing their job, they would have to cut up off an ear from one of their victims and put each ear in a bag and bring it in to their leader. Would you count that as either polite, reasonable, or respectful?
I mean, the person's already dead, so if they cut off an ear, it doesn't really make a difference.
I knew that's what she was going to say.
But would it be yes or no?
That it was polite.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not polite to kill anyone in general, but if they're trying to conquer land and that's what they need to do, then
So it would still be considered polite if you were a warrior against a peasant residing in a city?
I don't think it would be polite, but I think if it was their job and that's what they're being told to do, then they just
There are also written accounts of Mongol warriors eating raw hearts and livers from their defeated enemies. How many hearts and livers have you eaten?
personally, I haven't.
Or would you say that such an act is civilized in any way?
I mean, we eat animal parts, so.
So are you
But-
comparing people to animals?
So, you're based. But with animals, we herd them and we specifically farm them for consumption. Are you saying the Mongols farmed humans for consumption?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying it's their job to go and kill people.
But it's not their job to eat people.
Yeah, but if they're dead, the insects will eat them anyway, so what does it matter?
That's the circle of life. Humans eating humans is not.
Like how?
Fusion rust.
Sold them up.
Good job, Ben. Good job, Ben.
Bye, Dee.
The friend's called Kuba
To ensure that
Oh, yes.
I'm not going to
someone
that.
who's doing the job in front of you.
This is unfair.
It's not unfair because I'll still answer the questions as
That was
quickly as I
good.
can. I just might be a little bit. I'm a good actor.
No, I know.
If we're supposed to.
Okay, guys,
Okay.
come on.
Yeah.
It's my paper.
Hey, Granddad.
Actually, they didn't have phones in the 13th and 14th century.
Yeah, well, they didn't have computers either.
Are you?
Close them up.
Wait, that's your grandfather or you're his grandfather?
This is my grandfather.
Oh. What if my
Yes.
Okay, so would you say that you had how urbanized would you say your empire was?
At its height, it was very urbanized.
Okay. So what were the conditions in the urban cities?
Conditions in the urban cities were very good. I mean, they were clean. We had cultural debates. We had freedom of religion and religious tolerance. I would say the conditions were pretty good.
Okay. So you would say that religion was, like, different religions were viewed with respect, or?
Oh yes, I mean, we commissioned to build Buddhist temples, and we were kind to all religions. I in fact, found cultural diversity to be fascinating. I wanted to educate myself in everything that came down the pipe, basically. I thought it was cool to see all the different cultures meld into the large empire that we had created.
What was your motivation for conquering China?
The motivation for conquering China was to gain that land for the most part, and to have trading ports on the China Sea and the Pacific Ocean there.
So having China allow you more and better communication and trade throughout the empire?
Yes, most definitely.
How was your economy?
Our economy was thriving. We were doing excellently because we had created safety within and along the Silk Road because of the prowess of our military, and then being able to protect those that were traveling down and back and forth on the Silk Road. Trade was much more readily available and much easier. It also made trade cheaper because they didn't have to pay for like their own police forces to walk with them along the Silk Road to get from point A to point B.
And in China, China had a history of warring periods. When you took over, did that continue or did that lessen?
The warring periods, it definitely lessened. During the time that we took over, there was a lot of disunity in China, and that's what made us able to take them over, because they were fighting with each other and within their, in their ranks, and basically they divided and helped us conquer them.
Okay.
Did you have an organized government?
I would say yes, we had a very organized government. After my grandfather Genghis passed away, we created 4 different khanates, or basically states, and within each of those khanates, one of the grandsons ruled and was the leader, and we had to answer to each other and communicate with each other. There were laws that we had put in place and codified those laws so that everybody in the 4 different khanates had to follow them. The laws were, pretty general. I have the laws. Give me just 1 second. We were also, we're talking about so there were certain things that were forbidden. We weren't allowed to cut the throat of an animal killed for food. Instead, the belly had to be slit open and the heart pulled out so that it was a quick death. We weren't allowed to urinate in running water. We weren't allowed to wash in running water because that would make the water dirty. We could not be adulterers because that would result in the death penalty. We couldn't steal cattle because we'd be killed for that as well. If you were a merchant and you became bankrupt for the third time, you would be killed. It's pretty rough, but you know, you're not helping our economy if you are continually becoming bankrupt and asking us to help you. Spying on other people within the empire was punishable by death. Desertion of the Mongol army was punishable by death, and theft was punishable by death. Every monotheistic religion was accepted. And I'm pretty sure that is it.
So for if you deserted the army and that was punishable by death, do you think that other civilizations also had that law in place? And it wasn't just you?
Probably not, but I think that it created a fear amongst our warriors and pride amongst our warriors that they didn't want to desert the army because they were killed, A, and B, they didn't want to desert the army because they were proud of what they were doing anyway. And they got great perks for being a part of the army, so people who deserted the army, they shouldn't have been in it anyway.
Do you think the Mongol Empire could be considered uncivilized if they maintained human culture and organized government and a thriving economy?
Personally, no. I think that we were very civilized. It was just a different way of being civilized. It wasn't what everybody else was used to.
That's racist.
Okay, so you said that seeing as the majority of the Mongol Empire during your rule was very urbanized, there were many different cultures within the city. Is that correct?
Correct.
And did you have any concerns at all about so many cultures being put together in one place?
Of course, but I think that they were able to live together because of our strong rule.
And how was the law enforcement actually enforced?
There was a court, and we would, try people, much like this. And if they were found guilty, we would kill them, which was not uncommon at that time in other places as well.
And you also said that you conquered lands such as like China, for an example, for their benefits such as like, trade routes and everything. But my question is, why conquer the land when you could just negotiate with China and create an ally with them?
We tried that. We asked them if they wanted to be a part of our empire, and they knew full well that we were powerful and that our reputation preceded us, that if they didn't surrender, that we were going to kill them and conquer.
But would being ally, did you specify that you would be allies, or did you say that be part of our empire?
Part of our empire.
So they may have taken it as, if you don't surrender to us, we're going to fight you. And seeing as said before by our warrior, they were a very feared army, it probably wouldn't have looked good for the enemies. So,
But it was also known at the time that once the Mongols were in, that we helped and we were religiously tolerant and we just, all we needed was for people to pledge their allegiance.
you also have to take into consideration that China was pretty big at this time, and maybe they didn't want to give their control over to another empire.
They were fighting amongst themselves left and right. They didn't have any kind of unity whatsoever. Okay, guys, we should probably cut this off. Right, take a note as to where you were. Everybody needs to create a reflection on today's happenings to be handed in tomorrow when you come in. Just a short paragraph, okay? Okay, good job.
Oh, sorry, listen.
That is all.
I don't want to go to class.
Wait, are we supposed to say we're ready?
No.
Prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Okay, so guys, the indictment that we are trying to figure out here is Genghis Khan and his descendants were uncivilized conquerors and rulers in the 13th and 14th centuries.